Hi, welcome to Real World Riding. I'm Steve. In the last video I showed you some really basic stuff. I think the only thing you might have wanted to add to that was spanners if you needed those for your wheels if your axles have got a bolt on. In this one I'm going to add a few extra bits of kit for some slightly more complicated repairs, and also for things that can speed you up a little bit as well. So just a few little tools you might want to add to that repair kit once you're happy with the first lot of stuff that we talked about in the last video. So let's get cracking again, shall we?
So here's what we're talking about. So first of all, it doesn't need to be this is actually a workshop one. We have a chain splitter for fixing problems with chains, and this is also, that helps you out there. I'll show you how those two goes together. We've got a CO2 pump, so if you need to quickly get air into a tube, so you want a short stop if you've had to change an inner tube, then a Co2 canister can help with that. We have quick links, so you can repair a chain just with this, but these things make life a lot quicker and a bit easier with chains as well. Okay, so again, back onto the speeding things up issue, and then we've got tyre patches as well, so so you can patch up tyres while you're out and about, and that's what things we're going to cover in this quick session.
So we'll do with the quick one first. First up, we've got the CO2 canister. So you can buy these in sets or individually. This particular one has a plastic cover on it, and that's going to be quite useful. And then you've got the valve, and this one is actuated by screwing it in and then screwing it right up tight, and it pierces the valve. I've then got a lever to release the CO2 into my tyre. Universal valve, so I push over, and it's generally that's got rubber on the inside, and you rotate it and push it on, and it finds its way onto your valve. And then when you're good and ready, and this is done up tight, you then release the CO2. Now you're releasing a compressed gas, so that has a cooling effect. Really, really important to remember that. So the plastic cover or, I like both, pair of gloves as well. Otherwise you will freeze your hand to the canister, and the inner tube is not going to be your only problem that you've got. So make sure that you're not going to freeze yourself to the CO2 pump. Beyond that, these things carry one of these, a couple of canisters. It's a little bit of weight in addition to the pump, but it means that I've got the pump if this isn't going to work, or I need more gas inside my inner tube, or I get several punctures. Otherwise it just takes seconds to change to pump an inner tube up and get going. If you're running tubeless, again, it takes seconds to run it back up again. So really handy bit of kit if you're going to need to do things fast. Okay. Next up, we've got the patches. So in this tube, I've got a little emery board, really, really useful. Your inner tubes, if you're going to patch an inner tube when you're out, and I would say if you're on out for a longer day and you're only carrying one tube and you get a puncture, and it's good practice to repair the tube you've just taken out, just in case your new one gets punctured later on in the day. So, emery board, that is for roughing up the tube around the area where the hole is or holes are. Not really for roughing it up so much as the tubes have got release agent on them, and you need to take the release agent off. The release agent is for getting them out of the mould where they're originally made, so it's a bit slippery. So your stickers aren't going to stick onto it very well. So a little bit of emery board, rub it down, gets rid of the release agent. And then inside there, really small, got a set of little stickers. Okay, and that's literally it's like plasters for tyres. Okay, or plasters for inner tubes. And so you can put those on and stick them over your holes. One tip with those is if you can partially re-inflate your inner tube, then I would definitely do that. Partially inflate it means that when it expands, it's not going to try and pull itself off or pull the sticker off. So those are the first two bits of kit. Okay, next up.
So next up, I've got an old chain here, so I can demonstrate. I'm not going to pull up to bits a genuine one that I'm using at the moment. So we've got outer plates. And we've got inner plates on a chain. I don't know whether you can see those. We've got, there we go, outer plates and inner plates. It's not very well focused, is it? Anyway, so with a chain splitter, what you do is, if necessary, you put your chain inside it and you screw in the pin until it comes into contact with your chain. I'm just going to give it a wee adjust there to make sure that the pin is in the middle of the chain pin, and then that will allow me to push the chain pin, push it through and push it out like that. It's magic. Okay, so let's push through, pull it out, and I can now split my chain. So that's great if you're in a situation where you want to shorten your chain. So let's say you bought a chain that was too long, you can shorten it. What we're talking about is repairing. So it may be that you've not been changing gears that well, or you've just got a really old knackered chain. So let's say it's bent slightly and come to bits, and you need to remove a section of damaged chain. Okay, what you need to do is you need to get yourself back to the point where you've got the two ends, the two thinner inner sections. Okay, so that might mean, say, that are undamaged as well, it's worth saying. So you might need to just employ your chain splitter just to take out whole section, as few sections as possible, because you want to keep it to the original length if at all possible, and as much as possible. Let's get that pin aligned. There we go. I'm going to take two bits out, and now I've taken my damaged section out. Let's get that pin right out. There we go. Take my damaged section out, and now I've got my two ends of my repaired bit. So I've taken my two bent bits out that got bent somehow. I've got these two bits. Okay, I've got the two ends there. So that's what this is really useful for, is for getting your chain back to those two inner sections. So I've got myself to two inner sections here, and I'm then going to replace the outer section with two of these little magic links. So for one, I go in the way, and the other one I go out the way, and then I put them closely together, put the pins through the holes, and then pull them apart. Clunk. There we go. And now this is attached, and it's pretty strong. Okay, you can use these, and actually what you'll find is quite a lot of bikes now will come with one of these built in. A lot of chains will come with one of these in the kit, and that says as good as new. Okay, obviously it's slightly short, so you might have to restrict what gears you use, but don't worry about that too much. You've now got a chain ready to go, and that takes seconds to do. You saw this when I showed you the bits and bobs. Obviously, when the chain's running through the derailleur around the chain rings, it's under tension, so it's continually pulling against you. So you can use one of these when it's on the bike to hook into two bits of the chain, so they're under tension, being pulled, and that leaves you this slack bit in the middle here to do all the fixings on. Okay. A couple of little nuances. Some of them are curved. You can see this one here is curved, so you've got to make sure the curve goes with the general travel around the bike, and also many of them, and again I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this or not, it's slightly, yeah, it's not in focus, but there we go. There's quite clearly there's an arrow there. Okay, and that's the direction of travel arrow. That's an ideal thing for those. Okay, so one of those, couple of those, specific to your bike. They come in different widths, so make sure you know how many speeds your bike is. So that's the cassette on the back. Count the number of rings. If there's 7, 8 or 9 of those, then what you want is a 7 or an 8 or a 9 or a 10 or 11 or a 12 speed magic link. One of those in your bag. If you ever break the chain, it takes you a couple of minutes just to clean up with that, and then bung it back together again, and job's good. And so I can thoroughly recommend those. And those are my top bits of kit for saving a little bit of time for some fairly nasty repairs out on the road. So they have a few small additions that you can add to your repair kit that can deal with some slightly nastier mechanical issues like chain splitting.
and also it can speed your life up as well. So making sure that bit of time you spent repairing your bike is a smaller part of your day as possible, and keep you rolling, because that's what it's all about, is riding your bike, not sitting fixing it and poking at it. You can bring it home and do it in the garage instead. So thanks very much for watching. If you want more stuff, if you've got any specific requests or things you want covered, just get in touch. It's not a problem at all. And if there's any way we can support you getting out and about on your bike, then let me know. Thanks very much for watching, and see you around. Bye bye everybody.